Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me in another of my wonderful interviews. Today we're going to go, if we can find any, look at sunlight, the power of sunlight and homeopathy. And I was at a meeting, I was at a talk that I was giving amongst many other people in Derbyshire, and I met this wonderful man called John Twigg. And I saw him there with a pendulum doing some dowsing, and I thought, what the hell is he up to? That's something that's been on my radar, as it were, for some time. Didn't really know much about it. And he was telling me that he was dowsing because of sunshine and homeopathy, finding remedies for people, and he'd been doing it for some time. So I collared him and I said, would you come on the show and tell us about it? He agreed, and he's here today. John, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you, Richard. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's lovely to have you here, and we've been preparing some bits because I know we're going to look at a little bit of dowsing a little later on. We're going to talk about sunlight and homeopathy, of course. So I've got some bits and bobs, and we're going to experiment with that a little bit later. But let's just, first of all, find out a bit about you and what you do.
Right. Well, I'm 80 in January, which means I'm really retired, but I will never retire. I sort of encountered homeopathy more than 40 years ago, because my dog was what the vet called a dyer. He was a bearded collie, gorgeous animal, very much a pet, a family pet, and he developed a spinal problem. And when we approached the vet came out and said. Gave him a painkiller, obviously, and so the dog thought he was better. And the next day he was back where he was in the first place. And she was called out again. She said, "I'm sorry, he's what we call a dyer, and he won't. He's not got long to survive." And I was interested in herbal medicine. I said, "What about herbs? What's your feeling about that? Me treating him with herbs?" She says, "Look." She said, "Try anything. I'll tell you what, a friend of mine is interested in homeopathy. I'll have a word with her and ring me back later." So we rung back later, and she said on the Friday, she said, "I've had a word with my friend," and she says, "Give him arnica." So and the quest for arnica as a remedy took me really all over the place, and I met many eminent people in medicine, all because I wanted to get arnica for Bonnie, and eventually located arnica, and I gave it to him, and it saved his life.
Wow.
So I was so I was so struck by this. I just needed to know. I'm a typical Aquarian. I need to know more about it, and I needed to know much more about homeopathy, and I discovered that basically the all the royals have used homeopathy since Queen Victoria. I discovered it was a doctor's medicine, and so I wanted to know more and more. And I went down, if you like, I went down that rabbit hole, and what I found down the rabbit hole, I'm never coming back.
No.
And lots about true medicine. And
And it's interesting that the so-called doctors of today seem very much set on, or at least it may not be the doctors, but the pharmaceutical companies seem very much against homeopathy and have tried to sort of smear its potential for health benefits.
oh, have you noticed that?
Yes.
Well.
Have
I
you?
wonder why.
Well, clearly they're not making enough money with their millions that they're already making, and they want to.
Did you say trillions?
Did I say trillions? I should have done. Absolutely. So homeopathy is the doctor's medicine, the one that they would really go to rather than the pharmaceuticals. And,
Yeah.
and could you just tell us why arnica was such a hassle to get hold of? Is it difficult to get hold of? What?
It's
Where does
well,
it grow?
it was it grows in the Alps, but it was my ignorance.
Right.
Bear in mind that particular day, I'd never even heard of the word homeopathy,
Right.
so I didn't know
Yes.
where to turn. Uh,
giant leap.
so I asked a few questions, and that led me to it led me to a friend, well, a lady who became a friend, but I also knew people in health treatment for animals, and this dear lady was connected to Aberystwyth University, and she said, "Look, I know where you can get it." And so I found this lady called Catherine Drinkwater in in Cardiff, and she told me all about it. And she advised me where to get it from, and I contacted Ainsworth's pharmacy, who were the pharmacy to Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, right.
So they had a royal warrant, and so that's it. And they sent the arnica, and arnica got Bonnie better. And it's but since then, Richard, I'll tell you now, it's a massive story. It's massive because
Yes.
I wanted to know more about it, and I encountered various people. I became chairman of a homeopathic group in the local area, and that left me open, allowed me to visit homeopathic conventions and doctors lectures.
Right.
So I learned much more because I was chairman of this group, and I
So
met
my
many more people, many more doctors.
my understanding of homeopathy, and we did, I think it's probably 8 months ago, have somebody who was talking about homeopathy on its own
Yeah,
in the past, is that you give a tiny, tiny, small number of whatever it might be over a number of time, and that introduces an effect to the body that it then recovers from whichever problem that they have. Is that the sort of basis of it?
that's the basis of it, but there's a little bit more to it than that. It can
I'm
be
sure.
sometimes it can be one pill.
Right.
I mean, I'll
But
give you an example of arnica.
mm,
Um, I used to be the member of an art group, and I was coming away from the art group and in a town called Stafford, and the I noticed a man lying on the main road and stretched out. He looked as though he'd been knocked over by a bus or
oh,
something like that. And so we're talking, by the way, about one pill could work. Could work.
mm, mm,
And, so I got arnica in the car in a correct potency. And I got out of the car, walked towards this group of people who were surrounding this man lying down. And just as I approached them, I heard one voice saying, "My God, he stopped breathing." So there was a real problem there. And at the same time as I was approaching and heard one of the ladies saying he stopped breathing, I was undoing the lid of a bottle of arnica. And she said, I said, "What's happened?" I said, "Has he been hit by a bush?" She says, "No, no, he was there. I saw him fall. He had a bad fall. He cracked his back of his skull on the corner of the pavement, and he's lying here on the road. And now he's stopped breathing." And I said, "Look," I said, "I'm going to give him this remedy." She said, "What are you doing?" She says, I thought you weren't supposed to give them anything. The ambulance is on its way." I said, "To be quite frank, this could save his life, a possibility, because I knew the value of what the remedy arnica is all about. It covers shock, it covers bruising, it covers many things, just the remedy arnica." And so I undid the lid, put one pill, tiny little pill, in the side of in the flap of his mouth, and I promise you, I could not have counted 4 seconds. He shouted and sat up. That was the
gosh.
Now, I want you to understand from there, that was giving him an energy, and it wasn't the arnica that did it. It was he that used the remedy. It's always the person that does the healing, never the remedy.
Right. Okay.
So you give a good remedy, a good energy, and you don't know what results you're going to get. And this lad, I promise you, I could not have counted 4 seconds.
Wow. And that wasn't just because you were fiddling with his mouth that he
No, no, no,
suddenly...
not
No,
at all. No,
no.
you see, when the pill goes in the mouth, it takes a few seconds to literally, and it can be instantaneous, to the energy get through into the body.
So he was sitting up and able to breathe again
Yeah.
for when the ambulance presumably came and
Well, I
patched up
vanished. I
his...
vanished. I don't know what happened. But
Yeah,
there was a local chap who'd sort of witnessed this going on. He said, "What is it you're giving?" Because he was connected to the hospital. I said, "I've given him arnica." "Oh, that's okay." And
right.
I gave him this chap the rest of the bottle. I said, "Give him if he needs it again." And I scarpered.
Excellent.
I don't mean this. Not
Certainly.
literally
Right.
scarpered. It wasn't like that.
No. Here, take
I
this,
thought
son. I'm off.
there's no point of hanging about.
No, no. We get that. We get that. So that's homeopathy. Tell us. I mean, I know there's a lot more to that. Sunlight. We mentioned that at the beginning. Sunlight.
Yeah.
Now we know that sunlight gives us vitamin D. We also know that they're blanking out the skies at the moment. And I've had a couple of pilots on telling the people what's going on with that. But sunlight is important, not just from a vitamin D point of view. I mean, it's emotionally important. But how do you use it?
Well, the first I'll ask you, what do you see sunlight as? What colour do you see sunlight?
Well, I used to think of it as being a very orangey colour, but it does seem to have got whiter
Oh, right.
in
That's
recent
yeah.
times.
Well, if you look at any light through a prism,
Mm,
like a torchlight, you see the component part of that light because the prism, the glass prism, breaks the light up into its component parts. So on a
yeah,
sheet at the back, you'll see the component parts of the torchlight. Well,
like a rainbow.
yeah. Well, nature has a prism.
Mm,
So, and you shine sunlight through nature's prism, through rain, okay?
yep.
And you'll see the component parts of sunlight on the back cloth. So you'll see literally a rainbow, as you mentioned.
And so that's helpful because the sun
Okay,
is
right. Sorry, yeah, I stopped a bit too suddenly there.
it's
With
all right.
this it's understanding what a rainbow is.
Right.
Now, a rainbow is made of 7 visible colors. Okay, and if you really analyze the system that is a rainbow, these colors, they vibrate. They're not static, but they
Right.
vibrate at electrical frequencies. So the yellow part, for example, of the rainbow, it's a yellow band, but there are different. If you go from orange to green, you're going through the yellow band. So you go yellow, orange, orangey yellow, orangey yellow, yellow, a bit like northeast
Mm,
and northwest and so on. So they're gradients of yellow. Now there may be many tones of yellow in the yellow part of the spectrum. And then we get to green, there'll be many shades of green and so on. So they're not simply a band of colors, not red, orange,
no, they're not like
far
distinct.
more than
Here,
that.
one stops and the other
Yes,
starts.
it's not that. So basically but uh, plants. Oh, crikey. Let me just turn this off.
That's all right. I was just thinking that a lot of things appear as if they are one thing here, then another, and then another, timelines of events. But actually, there's always a beginning to it, and a beginning, and then the
Yeah,
event, and then the
exactly.
end, and things, everything sort of molds slowly. But we do think in these very stark ways.
Well, in the yellow part of the spectrum, for example, I'll say that because I know it's a broad light.
Mm,
There may be 1,000 yellows. We don't know.
right. Yes.
Um, so, right, where were we?
Vibration. Each of these colours are vibrating.
Yeah, now then. So the plants need this light
Yeah.
because they will grow using the light. Um, but the way they grow, they have to digest the light, and digestion at a cellular level, that the term is assimilate. So they assimilate light. They use the light. Okay, hence you'll get the plant growing.
Mm.
Hence you'll get the remedy arnica because it
Right.
grows because it's used sunlight.
It's using the
So,
sunlight.
right now then, but sunlight is more important than that because you uh, and Julia and all your friends, they need to also digest sunlight.
Yes.
Because if you didn't digest, now let's go back to the plants. All the plants, as people will say, on the planet, all almost all the remedies are plants. If you took sunlight away from those plants, you would have no remedies.
Right. Yeah.
Do
Clearly.
you accept the logic of that?
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Without photosynthesis, the
Yeah.
plants aren't going to grow. They don't grow in
So you'd have no
caves very
remedies.
much. Right.
Well, the same applies to Richard.
Yes.
If you didn't assimilate light, you wouldn't exist.
Exactly. Yeah.
In other words, we all need light.
We all need
Once you
light.
realize without light, without sunlight, there are no creatures, there are no insects, there are no remedies, there are no Richards, there's nothing.
No. Which
So
makes it more appalling that they're doing what they're doing in the
it
sky.
does, but it also makes you realize how important light is because there's
Yes.
nothing without it.
Yes.
Okay? So all remedies come from light. So it's now why don't we use that light? It's because we become unbalanced. A plant will be healthy, okay, if it's fed correctly, and it'll grow and it'll use the light. Okay, like a cabbage,
Mm.
when the cabbage grows, it takes in, it assimilates sunlight, and we eat the cabbage, and we eat all we're eating is processed light. So it's
Right.
all
Yeah.
everything's connected.
Yes.
So and then it comes to the human being. So the human being should process light, but the point is the human being might not be. It's because something's gone wrong with the human, and it can even be at birth. For example, I'll give you an example. In America, they vaccinate them at birth. Now, I'm not saying that it's up to everyone else whether the vaccines are good or bad. I've got my own view on that.
Mm.
But the point is, there are substances in vaccines that can damage, and those babies in America, they're automatically damaged. Automatically.
Automatically, right from the beginning.
So there we are. Therefore, there's the unbalanced state.
Right. So they need help with remedies,
Yes. And
which comes from light.
exactly. Yeah. But when I was at college, I was about to go to South Africa to learn about the work of a lady called Swami Narayani. She developed combination remedies, and it's this it's it's this trip to South Africa that led me. I wanted to know more about Swami Narayani, and
Mm.
I found I couldn't find books anywhere. All of a sudden, I located two books, second-hand books in America. Had them sent to me, and I read an article that she produced about gems, and I wanted to know these are used in Ayurvedic medicine, and I wanted to know why gems worked as remedies, and so I was taking in this subject of gem therapy, and
Mm.
a Dr. Bhattacharya educated the world, and that basically the red part of a ruby represents the red part of the sun's spectrum,
Right.
and so on. The yellow part,
In amber or something like that.
well, with the yellow, that's a bit of a unusual color I've gone to, because through dowsing and using a prism, the Ayurvedics have explained that red coral vibrates at a yellow frequency.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. and the green emerald vibrates at a green frequency. This is all through placing the the gem through a prism.
Right.
Okay, I've tried. I can't get it to work, but I accept their wisdom. They've got a wisdom 4,000 odd years old.
Yes.
They know a bit more than I do. And
Fair enough.
so the other colours, indigo, uh, the indigo part of the spectrum, you would use a diamond, and you'd use red corals, as I said, to represent yellow. Um, what others are there? Moonstone would represent the blue part of the spectrum, and so on. You'd have 7 gems representing 7 colors of sunlight. Now, what
Yes.
I did, I realized, because everything is made of sunlight, I realized, I've determined to find out what colors the remedies would be. Because, for
Okay.
example, I know that arnica works as a remedy. I know that arnica comes from sunlight. So
Yes.
I would start dowsing, and I would use a pendulum, and using any pendulum, use a pendulum and a bottle of arnica, and I would hold the pendulum and the bottle of arnica in that way, and just take it towards. In this case, I'll take it towards these. You just imagine these are gemstones.
Yes.
But in the end, because I wanted to, I'll come back to that in a minute. In the end, I needed to teach this subject because I was getting major results.
So are you saying? I know you're going to come back to it. Are you saying that with the pendulum, you're dowsing over the different colours,
Yeah,
and the one that resonates, or the answer comes, and then you go, oh, it's this colour.
yeah,
That's the colour of arnica, and so through that, and we'll find out how pendulums work shortly.
yeah.
What do you do with the results? So you this is colour therapy? Is it that you're saying that the
No,
colours?
it's not
No,
color. It's
right.
the reason I'll best explain it's not color. If you look outside, you see a yellow flower with a blue center.
Yeah.
Okay, but if a bumblebee lands on that flower, the bumblebee will not see a yellow flower with a blue center. The bumblebee will see something else.
Yes.
I think science has proved this.
Right, because his eye receptors work completely
Exactly, we
differently.
work in
Right.
different ways. So therefore, what we do use, the same thing that the bee uses. We are aware of frequency.
Right.
So the plant would vibrate at electrical frequency because the plant has taken in the frequencies of sunlight.
Yes.
So everything's about frequencies, electrical frequencies.
And this is
Well,
what we're learning all the time on this
well,
channel. Everyone keeps telling me it's all about frequencies. You go, oh,
well,
okay.
your body is vibrating at the moment at frequencies.
Yes, I apologise for that. I hope it's not offensive. No, you're right. So everything is vibrating. So you're trying to match the vibration of the plant, like arnica, with the vibration of the patient.
The
So
required,
the
the deficiency.
right, the
Because what
deficiency,
will
and
happen basically, because the person, like the plant, has to assimilate light, when the person is not assimilating light in the form of these 7 colors, there's something wrong.
right,
That's the unbalanced state.
and it's the unbalanced state, like we spoke about the children who've been given something that had reacted to them, and
Yeah,
they're unbalanced, but they can be helped by knowing
exactly.
what color the remedy
Yeah,
vibrating is that is
yes,
useful to them.
exactly. And that's what happens in homeopathy, full stop.
Right. Okay. Well,
What you've done
so
is
that
you've given a remedy that vibrates at a color frequency.
let's talk about the pendulum side of things, because that's what I saw when I came into the busy room and about to give my talk, and I saw you there dowsing over coloured water. It looked like, to work out
Yes.
something, and we'll come
I just
back to that.
remind everybody that you did not bring a cup of tea with you.
I didn't bring a cup of tea with you, no, and I regret that now because I'm being reminded of it in the recording. So I'm highly embarrassed. However, I'm sure I can make it up to you at some point. When I see you at the next one, I should make sure I bring a big flagon of tea, and hopefully it's still warm. So you were dowsing, and let's just tell me how dowsing works, because some people will have the opinion that it's of some mystical, spiritual something, and others say no, it's the body is twitching in a way, if you like.
It's far from being mystical.
Right.
It's pure science.
Okay. So
I know you're going to get a group of people of saying no, it isn't.
Well, this is it. It's nice having the debate, but let's go with how you see it and the science that you bring to it. So what's going on when you're down and you're using a pendulum as opposed to dowsing rods, which you might...
Let's say you're holding a pendulum. Okay.
Right.
Right. Now, what goes on in the body is thought.
Yes.
And thought is an energy. Okay? So what will alter the flow, movement of that pendulum is thought.
Yes.
Or energy. And you
Yes.
can just, you can just, okay, let's say if I hold a pendulum like that, just tap my body, the pendulum will move. And if I tap it there, the pendulum will move again. If you tap it lightly, in other words, you think something, that'll affect the movement, the flow of a pendulum.
So it's kind of a barometer, isn't it?
Yes.
A barometer of thought.
Of energy.
Of energy, right.
So it's the energies that are occurring in your body, okay?
Yes. And that's working on a non-conscious level. Would that... So I mean, if you're asking a question, what colour is the correct remedy for this patient who's sitting here, or it's you're not consciously going, go to red, I'm going to make it go.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. It goes deeper than that. You have what people call the Akashic field, okay? And that is an area where everything, it's a bit like a library that's beyond us. In a library in space or in our space.
So there's part of you that can contact that, not consciously, but subconsciously, if you like.
Yeah, another way of explaining that it exists. If you think of you are made of cells, yeah?
Yes.
But there'll be part of those cells are your mother's cells, inherited, and your grandfather's cells, and their grandparents' cells. And right through history, all these cells have witnessed life. Okay? So that's where a lot of information can be, if you like, picked from the history of the cells.
Right. And so that is it's coming in the form of energy that twitches your hand in a way that responds to the correct answer, but you're not physically doing it. You're not going. I'm going to. Yeah.
It will happen without movement. I think I did a demonstration with your partner Julia.
You did, yes.
I held her hands so that she could witness that I'm not doing this to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see what you've done now?
Oh, if I made you drop something.
Yes, you did.
Oh, sorry about that. It's because I was trying to make you a cup of tea. So we're going to just have a quick demonstration of the dowsing art then, and you've made sure that I've come prepared, and I do have a little brass
perfect
pendulum. I think it might actually be a plumb bob.
Yeah, that's fine. It's a way. Yeah.
But it works, and I've got a piece of cord that was on a necklace, and so that's nice and stout, and it does the thing.
Yeah.
It's a bit long, but I'll just tie off the other end. And you've also asked me to produce a piece of paper and a marker pen.
Sheet, yeah.
Yes. So we're going to. This is a bit like Blue Peter now, ladies and gentlemen, which is really exciting. It's like going back to your childhood. So I have a marker.
Yeah.
You can't really see it very clearly, and a piece of paper.
Right. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to create those images.
So these are, yes, you've got two spirals, and an up and down and a side to side by the looks of
Yeah,
things. So what?
one is clockwise and the other is anti-clockwise.
Okay, so the clockwise is on the left by the looks of things. So I'm going to try and draw that. You can't. I haven't got an overhead camera, so it's a bit boring for the viewer, but I will do that. And then the anti-clockwise now. Hang on. The clockwise was easy. Yeah, I may have overdone that. And up and down.
With an arrow connected at each end.
And I'm going to show you what I've done, and you can tell me if that is suitable.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Clockwise, anti-clockwise. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I've given you some good marks for that.
Oh, right. I go to the top of the class for the end of it, hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got those. They're all laid out in front of me. What do we do?
Your first spiral, okay. I want you to hold the pendulum as you were holding it.
See, now I know offhand you said about 3 meters. Sorry, 3 inches. 3 meters would mean I'd have to be on the top of a building.
Right. And hold that over your clockwise coil.
Okay,
Spiral.
and I'm doing it. Yeah.
And just hold it and tell yourself which way the spiral is traveling. Tell yourself. You don't ask anything.
Okay.
Are you getting a good reaction?
I am. It is spinning round.
Right,
and
now.
Look at that.
Right,
Now
go straight to the next spiral
Yeah.
and tell yourself which way the next spiral is traveling.
That is amazing. It's now
Right.
going anti-clockwise. Look at that.
Go now to the vertical line.
Yeah.
See straight away.
Look at that.
Now go to the horizontal line.
I can't believe that is very uncanny.
Now,
I have to
what
say.
you ought to do, be honourable.
Yes.
Tell the viewers that you're
Yes.
doing it deliberately. You're doing that yourself.
Well,
That's disgraceful.
it's outrageous, isn't it? I didn't deliberately move my hands that way, but I was saying that even now it's going again.
Yes.
That it's going left. Wow! Look, that is amazing. I don't know whether the viewers can see that because I've got the wrong sort of shirt on. It's all disappearing in it. But that is going round and round clockwise.
What you've done
Yes.
is you proved 2 or 3 things. You proved that dowsing is electrical. You proved that you can dowse. By the
that's
way,
handy.
what you've just witnessed, what you've just experienced, you can't undo anymore.
No.
You will always be able to dowse.
Oh, fantastic.
Right. And then what you've also proved, that dowsing is directional.
Right.
A lot of people that teach dowsing, they say, oh, you need to locate your yes and no. It's not that's not so. It's about direction.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's electrical. Now, what you've got there in your hand, you've got a practice sheet. So it took you about 30 seconds.
Yes.
Right. Now, I'm going to promise you that if you practice that 30 seconds almost every day, you'll be a professional, highly competent dowser. Really.
By doing exactly that, just saying this is going this way, this is going that way.
It's like you said. Have you ever played an instrument?
Badly.
Which one did you play badly?
All of them. Everyone I've tried. I tried to learn the piano. I didn't get on with that.
So
The recorder.
Could you play the piano straight away?
No, of course not.
Right. After 12,
I mean, you could play the notes, but
after 12 months, after 12 months, were you better?
No, but if you said it juggling, I did used to juggle, and I couldn't
Can
juggle
you
when I
prove that
started.
now?
But yeah, 5 balls I could do quite proficiently.
Can you do that now then?
I've lost an eye, so I do. But I could get back to it. Muscle memory, yes.
Okay, go on
But
then.
I haven't got 5 balls to prove it. I'm sorry to say. No, I had to give that up when I lost my eye. Things were going in this field of vision, and I couldn't see them. But with 3 balls, I couldn't do that beforehand. I'm looking around. I haven't got 3 balls here. I
Right.
can still juggle 3.
Well, please excuse my sense of humour, as I said.
No, it's perfectly fine. It's nice to have a bit of humour on the show. We do talk about important issues, but sometimes we get a bit serious with it all. So it's all good fun.
Where were we?
So you were saying that after 12 months of practicing, you'd be proficient. So where does the yes and no come in? Because if you're asking a question,
That was the old way of teaching.
right? But would you still use that? Would you still say,
No, there is
"I've got a
that-
tummy bug. Should I have arnica for it?" Yes and no, and could that help?
Well, what you do is think about what dowsing is. It's the whole body. We are electrical beings,
Mm.
right? So dowsing has to be electrical. Now,
Yes.
electricity does not understand yes or no. So think of positive and negative.
Right. Oh, okay.
So just you're thinking the same things really, but think in terms of positive and negative all the time.
Yes. So if you're looking for an answer and you say, if I take this pill, would I have a positive outcome?
Well, that's just think that way, yes, which is the correct term.
Right.
So positive and negative.
Yeah. And then you remember which way the thing's going so that you know that's always positive. If it's spiraling one way,
Well,
you know that's...
okay, I'll do your test. If you open the palm of your hand
Yes.
and say, please give me my positive.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Got to get myself organised again here. Right.
Say to yourself, please give me my positive.
Okay. I'm saying it in my own head.
Okay.
Please give me my... I've said it out loud now. Please give me my positive. Now it doesn't know what to do.
Take the pendulum a bit lower towards your hand.
Please give me my positive. Okay, so it looks like it's going side to side.
Stop it. Say, please give me my negative.
So please now give me my negative. And now it's going round and round clockwise. No, anti-clockwise.
So anti-clockwise is your negative. Now hang on again. So please give me my positive. Or you could even say, please make my positive clockwise.
Please make my positive clockwise. That's so uncanny. Look at that. And I can assure the viewer, I am just holding this. I mean, I can feel my arm twitching, but it's not me doing it. Well, I mean, it's me doing it on a different level, as it were.
So now you're positive. That's your positive clockwise.
Clockwise.
And your negative. And obviously they can represent yes and no, but in terms of electrical.
Right. Well, we've learned something there. I mean, we're learning all the time. Okay, so that's...
You learned something, but you've also proved that you can dowse.
Yes.
And you also proved to the world, I think all the world are watching your program.
They're all watching. In fact, when it releases, they all down tools and religiously they sit and watch. So what a load of rubbish that bloke is. So we've done the dowsing. So how do we take the dowsing principle to the sunlight, which then takes us to the homeopathy?
Well, it's the same thing because we're using electrical energy, but we're using magnets, and the correct term is electrical magnets.
Right.
We all know how a magnet works.
Yeah.
In the piece of the pin to the magnet. Well, this is a similar thing, but it's all electrical. So our body creates electromagnetism, right? So
Yes.
if you are, let's say, for example, if you've got these, I just change that. We just move this a little bit.
Hmm. I apologise to the ladies and gentlemen for the refresh rate of John's camera. So it's not the most fluid, but we
Right.
are seeing what you're doing.
So if I take, let's say I take arnica,
Yes.
okay? Now, so I'm going to say, terminology is very important, by the way. So I'll say, please take me to the sunlight bottle that vibrates at the frequency that matches the vibrational frequency of the remedy in my hand. Okay?
So you've got arnica in one hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're dowsing to ask which colour resonates
Please
to
take
that.
to the sunlight bottle that vibrates at the frequency that matches the vibrational frequency of the remedy in my hand. Okay.
And so this is doing pointing.
Yes, it's directional.
Yeah, direction, as you said before. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a bit slow. You've got to understand, I'm not as clever as people
Look,
think.
can you speed up a bit, please?
Yeah, I'll try. I just need a remedy. Have you got one?
Right. So you will notice that was going to yellow.
Going to yellow.
But every time I use arnica and this process, arnica is always attracted to yellow.
Okay.
Arnica vibrates at a yellow frequency. That's it's electromagnetism.
Right.
That's living proof. Okay.
Yes.
And you can do that. Eventually, I did it with about 200 remedies.
Yes. So you've built up a colour chart, I suppose, of each colour with each remedy. How do you know which remedy to offer the patient?
Well, what you do is you got the patient.
Are you able to put your camera back so we can see your lovely visage?
Okay.
And that rather interesting picture behind you. There we go.
Yeah, that is the Eagle Nebula. It's one I painted of the Eagle Nebula.
Oh, nice. So so you were saying, so we're matching the patient's got something wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess now. You're working out what vibration it is or what color they need.
Yes.
You then know the color. Once you know the color, you know the options of different.
The ballpark.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we do is we.
So how would you know How would you know? So I presented, and I'm saying to you, John, I'm really not with it. Would you dowse?
You would have sent me your hair. Well, not in your case.
No, thanks. I can send you some earwax or some other erroneous piece of.
When I started off, I was using saliva.
Oh, were you? Well, there we go. It's not as silly as I said. So something with a bit of DNA.
Sorry?
Something with a bit of DNA then.
Yeah, saliva contains the DNA.
Yes.
And then I went to nails.
Right.
And then I simplified it, went to
B&Q.
Basically 2 sticky labels with a lock of hair sandwiched in between.
Right.
There's maybe a better example there. Where are we?
Where are you? Yep, somewhere there. We can kind of see it. I'll take your word for it. So you've got somebody's hair, and they've sent you the hair, and we did have a lady who was doing this by computer, called bioresonance or whatever, and then she would do some other things. But that was a similar thing. Send a piece of your anatomy, not a finger or an ear or a tooth, just a piece of hair, and what do you do with that? Are you dowsing over that?
I have, by the way, used a baby stool.
Well, what you sit on is entirely up to you,
I
John.
am
If
serious.
you
I
if you
am
feel
serious
comfortable. Oh right. I hope they
because
didn't send that through the post. Here's an old nappy.
now the
Douse on that.
the grandmother had got the baby stool because the grandmother was a homeopath, and the grandmother knew that the baby was in trouble,
Right.
and so
Gosh.
all she could get without telling the parents
Hmm.
with the stool.
Is this
Anyway,
blimey?
that's another story.
Yes.
Well, so we got the hair.
Yes.
So the hair, the person. This is not the
Yes.
hair. This is the person.
Right.
Okay. According to Einstein, this is what's the term now?
I don't know.
Uh, the word will come to me in a minute.
Yeah. It's a resonance of the person.
Yeah. What's the blooming hell? Quantum.
Ah,
He
quantum.
called it quantum entanglement.
Right. Oh, okay.
That
Yeah,
is
I've heard that term.
that is if let's say the person is there, and the person's blood is in Australia. Whatever happens to that person will happen to the
Ha-
blood in Australia.
And I've seen that being demonstrated. I have seen that happen in real life, where somebody was sitting about 6 feet from a blood sample,
Yeah,
and she took a glass of structured water,
yeah,
and the blood sample which showed all the whatever they are, the cellular structure, which was all clumped together, as she drank the structured water,
yeah,
separated by 6 feet, the cells loosened up
yeah.
into a proper position, and it was just mesmerizing watching that. So that's quantum entanglement. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Now, so it exists. So what we've got here now is the person, okay?
Yes.
And as we did with the bottle of arnica, okay, we'll go to these, um, let's say the sunlight bottles, and see which
Oh, and see where it points. Right.
which one the person is attracted to,
Yes.
okay, electromagnetically,
Yes.
and it will be attracted to what it needs.
So let's say it doesn't go to yellow. Let's say it goes to green for the sake
Yeah.
of argument.
Okay, go
Would
to
you
green.
would you then have you might have 100 green options.
Exactly. Yeah.
How would you know which one of those to pick?
And that's where the skill of the homeopath comes in,
Right.
using the symptoms.
Yes. So it's not like they've just sent you the hair and said, there you go, work it out for yourself. You'd also have all the symptoms.
Why
You,
are
you know.
people doing this across me? There's,
Why what? Sorry. Oh, is it on your phone?
it's all right.
Yeah. So then it comes down to your skill, your knowledge, and that's why no idiot like me can just go, oh, I'll just set it up. Oh, yellow, I'll have some yellow pills.
Really important to have homeopathic training.
Right. So, I mean, this is absolutely fascinating, and again, it's so far removed from the pharmaceutical world and the GP and all of that. And like with the example that you gave of the poor sod who was lying on the pavement having collapsed, and instantly the remedy made a difference to his life, although you scarpered and you didn't see the next bus that hit him as he got up, which is a bit of a shame. This is in a way it's groundbreaking, but I'm going to think that this must be probably quite ancient knowledge that we've forgotten.
That's a difficult one. I don't know about that because
Right.
they used to dowse in Egyptian times.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, because it's light and all that, but in the last 1,000, 2,000 years, we've sort of forgotten all of those sort of things, and we've gone down the road of science and pharmaceuticals and profit-making companies and all of that. So this is what you do. This is it's an amazing insight, isn't it? And
I can assure you, it's much bigger than that. You've only just touched
yes,
tip of the iceberg.
So can I mean, obviously, people need to go and see a homeopathic practitioner. I'm just looking at the time, and time is ticking. Is there anything that people can do to help themselves if they don't have access to people like you immediately, within either using the dowsing ability or the light?
Well, we haven't got that far yet. I'm thinking of creating more yellow samples, more different tones of yellow, for example, more
Right,
different tones of green, then the public can use it. Um, but we haven't got to that level yet.
right.
This is the next project. Um, but look, this is a massive subject. Are you going to? Can I mention cases?
Mention what?
Cases.
Cases. Yes, yes, of course.
So, were you going to go on to that, or have you got to close?
No, no. I was just. I had no.
You thought I'd finished?
No, I just didn't know quite where we were going to next because we
Right.
worked out the
Well,
process. So yeah, do tell me some cases.
when I first discovered this for myself,
Mm,
someone was asking. I was still at college. In fact, I was a year after college, and I'm still helping. My ex-partner and I used to help the college. And I'm still dedicated to the college and the people there.
mm.
But one of the members asked, "Can the method that you use, can it help a lad with a broken neck?" I said, "Look,
Gosh,
you know, I never state cure at all.
no.
I never do. Um, but all I'll ever say is I'll help. That's all I can promise to do, help."
Yes,
This
and they.
lad, apparently he was a part-time racing driver, and he'd broken his neck in an accident, and he was attached to the spinal unit in Oswestry. And this homeopath said many people have treated this racing driver,
Mm,
and he's not getting any results. So I thought, I said, ask him if he'll send me his sample, which he did.
mm.
And I said, if he wants to make a payment, he can make me a donation. If I get him better, or when I get him better, or whatever.
Send you a Ferrari or something.
Anything. And so, yeah, that's right, brand new Ferrari. Um, and then I doused this sample, and it's a sample that was attracted to yellow. Okay.
Mm.
In this case, it was a bottle of saliva. It wasn't hair, but he was attracted to yellow. So whatever remedy I'm going to give him, it'll be something that vibrates at the yellow frequency.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the I thought what I'll do, because of the state of the person, repairing a broken neck is a different story.
Mm.
But I thought this bloke is in a mess, and he's in a wheelchair, and he must be really depressed about life. And so I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll find a remedy for his depression. And I thought at the same time I'll search for whatever we would give as a homeopath for a broken neck that comes
Mm.
under the yellow range. And to cut the story short, I suggested to her that she gives him calcium phosphate and calcium fluoride, uh, two yellow remedies, two remedies that vibrate at yellow frequencies that would be used for a broken neck, for example.
Yeah.
Anyway, the following month, because we met monthly, she says, "Richard is trying to get in touch with you." I said, "Do you know why?" She says, "Well, something's happened." Anyway, that was on the Sunday. On the Monday, I received a letter. The following day, I received a letter from him. He said, and inside the letter was £40. Oh, I was dead chuffed.
Yeah.
But there was also a
You
note.
could eat.
What was important is what the note said. I've been for the latest examination under the consultant at Oswestry, and the results of don't forget we've got a X-ray that said you'll never repair, and the results that shows the latest X-ray, and the consultant said, "I now guarantee you will repair 100%."
Good
He
heavens.
was back at work 2 months after the remedy.
And you're still waiting for the Ferrari, I suppose.
But
Yeah, it's typical, isn't it?
look, there's much more than that. I'll give you the famous. Oh God, they've got pages of me here.
Mm.
There's
Just give us one more before we've got to close, unfortunately, because of time.
okay, one more.
Mm.
The most famous one for me
Mm.
is the lad who's epileptic,
Right.
and he was attracted, electromagnetically attracted, to yellow again.
It's a
So
very popular colour, isn't it, yellow, at the moment?
yes, it's exactly. And so where was I? Yeah, he was attracted.
Epileptic, attracted to yellow.
Yeah. So whatever remedy I'm going to give him, it's going to be something that vibrates at the yellow frequency.
Yes.
And I looked on in the medical book, and I can't look for epilepsy because the it's what you call a symptom. It's too big.
Right.
You,
Yeah, it
you
covers
probably
too many
find
things.
400 remedies indicated under that term.
Right.
But there was one. His mum said every time he's ill, when there's an attack imminent, he's always he always gets a sensation of a crawling or a creeping like a mouse down his leg. And I
Ah.
found that in the medical book under the nervous section, sensation of crawling or creeping down the leg.
Right.
And there were about 20 remedies indicated, and one of them stuck out in capitals, and one that vibrated at the I knew vibrated at the yellow frequency, calcium carbonate. Please understand, I'm not shouting at you this. Look, I cured him. Please
No, no.
understand that. But I want to take you through the process.
Yes. No.
This,
We're appreciating that.
this hour and a half, okay?
Yeah.
So because he was attracted to yellow, and I realised I was going to give him calcium carbonate, a remedy that vibrated at a yellow frequency, and so he was. I decided on the potency, and all his symptoms subsided.
Wow.
But after about, I don't know, 20 minutes, it came back again. So
Ah.
I raised the potency,
Oh, I see. Yes.
and all is the same remedy, and this symptom subsided again. And to cut the story short, the symptoms returned again. But by this time, he'd put a blanket over his shoulder. He got up and he said, "Look," to his mom. He said, "I want to go to the hospital." So I said, and his mom looked at me in horror because she was concerned about the side effect of the very complex drugs that he used in
Yes.
this condition. So I said, "Look, let him. He needs to. Well, what he needs to do is get out of this major state of fear, because it's going to take him down."
Hmm.
So I said, "Look, let's get him." I thought to myself, "Let's get him out of fear. Let's get him out of the house, going to the hospital. He'll be out of fear then."
Hmm.
So I said to his mum, I said, "Look, whatever you do, Kath, go along with me. We'll take him to the hospital." So then he's in no fear. I said, "When he gets to hospital, I'll discuss the matter with the doctors." I said, "So don't be concerned about that." And then, but before he went through the door, I decided I'm going to give him a very high potency of the same remedy, which I did, one pill. And he opened the door, and I could still see his fingers on the doorknob. To this day, I've got this clear picture of his two fingers on the doorknob, and I gave him this high potency, much higher potency calcium carbonate, and he looked at me. He said, "I just want to sit down a minute." So he came back in the room, sat on the settee, and went to sleep. And now what you do is, his mum told me he never goes to sleep during an attack, because he's terrified if he has an attack during his sleep, he will die.
Yes.
That's why he'll never go to sleep. But he went to sleep. Right. Can I cut the story short?
Please do.
He was cured.
He was cured. There we go.
Never had another attack.
Never had another attack.
That was 14 years ago.
Good gracious.
Totally
Amazing. So there we are. Look, there's a demonstration, albeit hearsay from what we've got, but you know that's amazing. That is incredible, and I think it gives people an idea that there are different ways, as we've shown on this channel, to improve one's health.
I think I ought to leave you with one thing, if I've got time.
Yeah, go on then.
This is for the members of the group who are learning this.
Yeah.
I have a friend who, her and her husband, they run a Pakistanis. They're Pakistani. They run a Muslim type cafe. And she phoned me. I had a hair sample. I've had it for 2 years. And she phoned me. She says, I'm in desperate trouble. She says, I've got violent stomach pain. Can you help? And she told me a symptom, but she didn't fully understand. Her name is, she said I could tell her name. Her name is Saika. She's a Pakistani lady, and she was she got this violent pain. I said, look, I'll try and think of the remedies. I'll try and think. But in the meantime, I put her hair in one of these. Her hair.
Yeah, in your sticker thing.
Into a violet. This is violet. Okay.
Right. Into a violet flower, but bottle or something, cup.
I just dropped it in there.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, what I'll do, I'll ring you back in 10 minutes. Okay. That was something to do. At least then she's getting violet light.
Yes.
Okay.
Using quantum entanglement.
Yeah. Basically, the only thing, if you have any light, the only light that can shine through there is
the colour of the glass.
That's all.
Yeah. No, got that.
No other light can get through.
So what happened?
So basically, she. I thought I better give her a ring. I found a remedy. I said, I rung. I said, hi, Saika. She said, what have you done? This was 10 minutes after.
Right.
What have you done? I said, I told her what had happened. Total cure.
Mate, how about that?
Just by putting her in that colour.
There you go.
And then
there is more to this. I mean, clearly there is more to this. We could discuss this for a long time. Unfortunately, I've run out of time. But
make it another time.
And yeah, maybe another time. It would be good next time I'm up in Derbyshire. That's where you're based in Derbyshire, is it?
Well, I'll travel. You know.
You do travel. Well, I'm sure we may well
to South Africa.
Yeah, well, there we are. So down on the south coast is a nothing. John, thank you for sharing your wonderful knowledge and your practice and introducing to the audience this possibility for them to explore themselves and find people like you. Are you open to people contacting you or getting in touch?
Yes, but there's also a group that of other practitioners.
Right.
They've learned this process.
Oh, okay. And is there a link? Is there a link to that group? Can I put that in the description?
The group is private, but I can via email I can list the names of people who want to make themselves known.
Okay. All right.
So if you take my email,
yes,
which is John Twigg homeopath. That's double G, by the way, Twigg @airpost.net.
At airpost.
Yeah, .net.
.net. John Twigg, 2 G's, homeopath at airpost.net.
Yeah.
And email John, and I'll put that in the description so people can email you, and then you can privately decide.
And just look for people who are practicing this cosmic homeopathy.
So is that what it's called? Cosmic homeopathy?
Well, it's going to be renamed, I think. Maybe we're all sunlight messengers, basically.
Right. Brilliant. John, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for teaching me how to dowse. I'm going to do my positive and negative every day.
Yeah.
And I've also handy a nice little plumb bob at the same time. It's been an absolute joy, John. Thank you for talking to us. And ladies and gentlemen, there you go. How about that? Absolutely fascinating. And I want to know if you've done any dowsing yourselves and what kind of results you have with that. And indeed, if you deal with colours and sunlight. In the meantime, I'll be back with more wonderful guests and my normal little monologues. But thank you so much for watching. From John and I, we wish you a good day. Till next time.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.